Happy New Year! I hope you've all had a wonderful break with your friends and family. I had a nice break filled with eating lots of good food, and now I'm ready to get back into it. We're kicking off my first video of 2025 with Pokémon Ground type. The theme of this one is New Beginnings, which is why I'm making it farming themed. Works pretty well with ground type. Let's get to the sketch. I wanted this to be farming themed so the Pokémon are planting seeds into the ground. They're all working together to dig holes into the ground and watering the seeds. Mudbray is doing the heavy lifting and pulling the wagon of seeds, while Larvitar is throwing them into the ground. The seeds on the bag are small, but Larvitar found a super big one and is showing it off. Cubone is on Mudbray's back giving moral support. It's a very important job, okay? Sandshrew is digging up holes. Trapinch is holding the watering can. And Diglett is... he's there. He's got dirt on his head. I'm not sure what they're planting. Maybe some Pokemon World vegetables. I love all the Pokemon I chose for this project. I can't wait to get started.
Sculpting!
I made myself a little Mudbray armature and started covering up in clay. I know I never show my armature making process in the video, but that's because I don't really have much of a process. I just lump together foil and try my best to match the shape of whatever I'm making. Sometimes it falls apart, sometimes I mess up and have to adjust it halfway through the sculpting process. I just didn't think it'd be an interesting thing to watch me struggle with, so yeah. Once I get all the legs attached, I stick on the long ears. Now time for the hair. Mudbray has very choppy bangs, so I make sure to square off the ends. The hair on the mane is also choppy, so I'm cutting out the shape I want. Oh, and the tail is also choppy too. He's finished.
Next.
Time to make Sandshrew. I made her body very round. I stuck on her tail. And then smooth on her legs, making sure to make cuts for her claws. The tiny ears are next. And then the arms. The claws were a little difficult to stick on because they're so small, and I was trying my best to keep them from constantly falling off. It's okay, they're secured. Then I can start drawing the brick pattern all over the body. I go over everything lightly at first, before I go in one more time to deepen the marks. Done.
Next.
Now we work on Cubone. I'm sculpting it as if the skull is already on her head. I then try to make it look separated. I make indents for the eyes, and add spiky bits to the bottom that I smooth in. I add the bone ears, at least I think they're ears. Then work on her little body. Oh, I also forgot to make small nose holes, and pop on her tail. I start making her bone, which I think I made a little too big. I actually think it looks really cute, being so big for her to hold. It's not too bad. Ta-da!
Next.
I'm claying up Larvitar. I pop the big spike onto her head. I always thought it was like a shark fin or something, cause Larvitar looks sorta shark-like. But I don't know. It's probably just a spike. I stick on the arms and legs the same as how I did with Sandshrew and Cubone. Now I work on the tail, which I forgot to draw in the sketch. It's like this weird choppy cone thing, so I cut that piece out. Roll it up and attach it to the butt. I can't forget the seat that she's holding. And finished.
Next.
Trapinch time. Trapinch is fairly easy. He's two round ovalish spheres with little legs. I start making a small zigzag for his mouth. I could have just painted this on later, but I think sculpting it on makes it look nicer. I pop on his legs. And then he's done.
Next.
The last Pokemon is Diglett. He's a little lump that I wrap a long log of clay around. I go in with my ball tool to make the clay look lumpy and more like dirt. I sculpted a flower-like shape to go on top of Diglett's head, which is also supposed to be more dirt. I made small dots of clay to add more detail. All he needs left is his nose. Diglett's done.
Next.
Time for the wagon. I would usually make the big objects first before I work on the Pokemon, but I needed all the Pokemon done first so I can make the wagon proportionate to them. Look at me taking extra precautions. This truly is a new year, new me. Still not making proper measurements with cutting these wagon parts though. That won't change. I'm cutting out the wheels with my circle cutters. And making the spokes. These pieces are gonna go in the oven for a bit. Then I add some details and stick them all together. As you can see, I quickly whipped up more goop. It's regular clay mixed with liquid clay to make a paste. I'm keeping these parts separate so I can paint them and we'll glue them on at the end.
Next.
We're not done yet because we got some small accessories to make. I'm making the bag of seeds here. It's not too hard. I make indents on the top. And it's done.
Next.
The watering can is a cylinder I roll. I make and stick on the handle and the spout. That's done.
Next.
And finally, some details for the dirt on the ground. the hole that Sandshrew is digging, and the lump of dirt for the previously planted seed. Now all of these guys can go into the oven and get prepped for painting.
Paint time!
Mudbray is dark brown, gray, black, a cream color, and pink. Hey look, I'm finally using a bigger brush. Actually, this brush is too big. I have a medium-sized brush coming, but it hasn't arrived yet, so by the next video I'll probably be using that one to paint with. I'll still be using my old crusty brush in this video, but it'll be thrown out soon. I paint in the pattern on his legs and stomach with the cream color. I carefully paint his hair black. Then paint the inner ears with pink. His eyes and nostrils are next. And lastly is his nails. Adding some lighting, and Mudbray is finished.
Next.
Sandshrew is just yellow and white. I paint yellow all over his body first. Then go in with the white on his belly and face. The white also goes on his claws and ears. Finishing up the face. And done.
Next.
Cubone is painted a tan brown, white, and cream. I'm happy a lot of these Pokemon have very simple color schemes. I paint the brown on her body and face inside the eye sockets. Then add her stomach patch. And white onto the skull. I paint in her eyes, toes, and bone that she's holding. She's done.
Next.
Larvitar is this beautiful shade of green. I don't know what kind of green it is. Maybe like an avocado green. It's just super pretty. Unfortunately, it dries much darker, which sucks. I also use black and red. Therefore, the diamond pattern on her stomach. I add a little highlight and paint in her seed. Done with Larvitar.
Next.
Trapinch is painted with a bright reddish orange and white. I coat the entire body in orange and go in all around the legs with white. Just need to paint in the eyes, and a head shiny, and done.
Next.
Diglett is brown and pink. I tried to slightly make the browns different. The brown for the dirt being warmer, and the brown for Diglett's body being a little darker and less saturated. I paint his nose pink, and then go in to paint his eyes. Finished.
Next.
The wagon is a lot of brown. I mixed very warm browns for it. Most of the wagon is a lighter shade while the ridges are painted darker. I paint the wheels and other attachments a different darker brown. There we have it.
Next.
The bag of seeds are a soft blue. And the seed drawing on top of it is a dark brown. I added some lighting to the bag too.
Next.
The water can is dark green. With some warm lighting.
Next.
And all the dirt pieces are a light brown.
Next.
Here we go painting the base. I might use this big brush just for the base from now on, cause this is the nicest time I've ever had painting this thing. I go in blending a darker brown into some areas where the pieces will go on top of. Then I add light spots of brown for the clumps of dirt. I add in small weeds here and there. And here's the base. Now I can assemble them. Some of them can't stand up on their own and are in the wrong areas, but they'll be glued properly, no worries. It'll be fine in the end.
Success! Whoopee!
Okay, they're all really big. Much bigger than the sketch. It makes the base look super small. Especially Trapinch. He's a little too big, but despite the sizes, each Pokemon looks pretty good. Mudbray is my favorite. I think I'm getting the hang of making horse creatures. Diglett is also super cute. I think Diglett should always have dirt on their heads. It looks like a little hat. Or maybe just doo-doo. The wagon doesn't look accurate to the sketch because I was having problems connecting Mudbray to the wagon. It's not a big issue though, still looks fine to me. I'm glad to be back. I've taken a nice break and I'm ready to get back into it. This was a nice project to start off with. Nothing too hard. Though I know some of my future sculptures are going to really test my patience. I'm kind of scared, but also looking forward to it. I hope you'll stick around for whenever those come out. Thanks for watching!
Bye-bye!